Okay, the state of application security. We're just going to look at some simple stats. I'm not going to read everything here because we're getting close to the end, fortunately. So this study was done in 2023. Okay, so this is from the Veracode State of Software Security. Over 74% of applications have at least one security flaw found in the last scan over the last 12 months. These include over 69% have at least one OWASP top 10 flaw, and over 56% have at least one CWE top 25 flaw. Now, how many people did they study here? Let's just see if they show it. I am not sure if they show it. They might show it later. But still, these numbers are still not looking good. I believe Veracode does it in the tunes to the tune of thousands. Flaw prevalence by language. JavaScript generally has fewer flaws. In 2023, something changed because in 2022 we were seeing statistics that JavaScript, especially jQuery, was usually the most common cause of flaws. With just over half of applications with any flaws reported, while about 4 out of 5 Java and .NET applications have any flaws. So you can see JavaScript here, based on the JavaScript is in blue, .NET is in like pinkish, Java is in whatever salmon color you want to call it. But in terms of any flaws, JavaScript has gone down. OWASP top 10 has gone down. If you compare it to previous years, it seems like it's on a trend downward in terms of JavaScript itself. But over 50% of JavaScript have any flaw at all. Over 70% in Java and over 80% in .NET. Those are not good numbers, especially when you look at OWASP top 10 and CWE top 25, where the numbers don't change that much in JavaScript either, which means that JavaScript might actually carry a lot more of these flaws than the other ones. Flaw introduced by age of applications. While over 30% of applications show flaws at the first scan, this number drops to approximately 22% shortly after, before rising to 30% again at 4 years. The number of applications with new flaws then increases further to approximately 35% of applications over 4.5 years old. So essentially what they're saying is, first-time scan may discover some accumulated flaws, so you start over here with number of flaws. Then you have a honeymoon phase where you're in bed, things are good, you're doing the touchy-feelies, everyone's getting those nice feelings. It's the warm, comfy, cozy feeling of compile my front end, feels nice. That was really stupid, I'm sorry. And then you go, proportion of applications introducing new flaws grows over time, and then it exceeds the introductory rate of flaws as the project gets longer or older. Application size by age of applications. Applications grow in size by about 40% year on year, irrespective of their original size. So it doesn't matter what you're doing, you're going to grow. Especially the more you go, the more you continue, the more you're just going to add a code or whatever it is you're going to add to it. It's just going to increase. Top flaws by scan type. So this is in 2023. So this is kind of like updated information somewhat, as opposed to like some of the 2022 information we saw. And you can see that essentially injection, server configuration, or information leakage take the top in these things, like in all these categories, because they do different kinds of analysis to analyze different kinds of issues. So a SQL injection in a static analysis is not going to be the same as a SQL injection in a dynamic analysis, right? They have different requirements and different frameworks. These are generally like studied well enough in scientific papers that they kind of like apply a framework, and then they just kind of extract like deficiencies that they find. But still, the fact that we have insufficient input validation near the top here is absolutely bonkers. Code quality is number 4 in static analysis. Code quality is 55% of the reasons why there are flaws. That's insane. I thought we had great tools. Factors that impact introduction and accumulation of flaws. 0.4% reduction in the probability that new flaws will be introduced into applications. That's good. And then 1.6% reduction in the number of flaws introduced when flaws are introduced into the application. That scans last month, and then every month since the last scan, these numbers have actually gone up. So when you look at the bigger picture, the numbers just go up. These numbers go down by scan type and developer education, which is scans in the API, and then certification and training. So that's a good thing. So then they discuss things like, like what you can do in terms of like dealing with issues. We've seen statistics like this in the 2022 figures, but the 2023 figures aren't much better. Over 90% of Java apps are third-party code. That's probably true of many other languages, and you can see there is a breakdown here. Language in use by proportion of applications. So you can see Java has like the biggest share in here, and then it breaks it down. Python, PHP, COBOL mentioned, iOS bitcode mentioned, things like that, right? So and then the discoverability of flaws, which is like existing flaws in the application. So again, these numbers aren't that great. You can see the trends over time from 2016 to 2022. They're headed in the right direction, but they're nowhere near as good as they should be. And I would argue that in the last few years, they've actually been plateauing, and they might be heading up. And you can see in OWASP top 10 that they're definitely going up. So I wonder what 2024 looks like. Then they break it out by language, which we've already seen. Then they go by flaw types, which we've already seen. This is basically just like a breakdown of like how they got to the summary of data that they did, the most common flaws in the vulnerability reports, etc. They again break down like how did we determine application size and what things affect like flaws in the application size over time, etc., etc. So I don't think there's anything else here on this one. And then they say like be preventative, not proactive. Preventative, not reactive.